Dear Vermonters, I am Mark Stewart, and you will see my name on the Vermont Presidential Primary Ballot. If done alphabetically, Stewart will appear just below one Sanders, your junior senator. It's altogether fitting that your state will be ground zero for a debate that is really long overdue. Really, ever since the 1960s, a debate over whether big government is good. Your junior senator, he's a tireless advocate for expanding government power. He contends it will always be for good. Most of us know it. We know that the reality of the Soviet Union under big oppressive government, where Bernie honeymooned and lauded, was decrepit. We know that Cuba, which with its big government keeps its citizens from flourishing, most oppressive government in North America. In South America, the most oppressive government there, Venezuela's, where under socialist rule, the once richest country now has many people eating dogs to survive. Mr. Sanders leads a movement, and he leads it eloquently, but his progeny is so bent on destroying the American way that they've become intolerant of others' identities, intolerant of their speech, and at times violent in squashing their opinions. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to return to normalcy. I can't think of a better advocate for normalcy and a more forceful denouncer of the modern Democrat left than another BS, that's Brandon Straka. He's the head of the walkaway movement. He's a former progressive, but he's seen how progressives have been captured by leftists. They're the ones wanting to destroy America from within. Brandon is more effective than I will ever be. Please watch his video. He's one of my heroes, a forceful, impassioned, normal, gay American. He and others who are advocates for return to normalcy are the people I'd like to see joining us, doing what we're doing, running in, yes, a few other primaries. I have the energy and the commitment to 2 Super Tuesday states. They will be Vermont, adopted home of one Bernie Sanders, and Massachusetts, adopted home of one Elizabeth Warren. I would like your help, because with your support, not financial, we don't even take campaign donations, but with your voice, and with the voices of others, perhaps in a pack, the voice of independents and moderate Democrats is not heard in the scramble among intoxicated progressives. Sadly, the voice of non-Trump Republicans is rarely heard as well. The sides win out. We offer an alternative party. The E.P.I.C party is going to be on ballots in at least 7 states in November 2020. We will have a convention shortly before Labor Day. That'll be in Hartford, probably Connecticut, but potentially Hartford, Vermont, where I live briefly. All Americans 13 or over can participate in the E.P.I.C party's convention. We will even have primaries of our own, non-binding, but there to inform delegates in May, June, and July. And you, if you'd like, will help select candidates at this convention. You voters who are politically independent, but united in your disdain for the modern 2-party system, you have a place here. E.P.I.C has at least one other candidate like me. He's going to be running in Utah and one other western state for a primary. And E.P.I.C is looking for people like you to run for office. Not necessarily in the presidential primary, but how about for Congress and for state house seats? How about it? Again, normal. It's a winning ticket. You don't need to have held office. These days, holding office is actually a black mark. Office holders at the federal level and in most states, they can't even balance a budget. Mothers who successfully run households are better civic leaders than your average state house or congressman. That's not hyperbole. And it's not just me. Voters like business people, but voters like outsiders. It's why Ross Perot was so popular. It's why in 2012, Herman Cain, businessman, was the front runner for a while. It's why in 2012, Mitt Romney, who was known more for business than his 2 years of governor, that too is why he got the nomination. And yeah, in 2016, it's why candidate Donald Trump vanquished so many of the Republican competitors who were governors and senators. Trump, with no political experience, makes for a good candidate. The benefits of a robust third party are colossal. We contend that voters know this. It's media and stodgy, stuck in their ways traditionalists. They don't want to alter. But for them, let me give 3 benefits of multiple strong parties. Number 1, more choices. Voters aren't stuck with 2 abhorrent candidates. Number 2, more good candidates available. There's would-be first-time candidates who are stopped up by the stratification in the Democrat Party. If you're not senior, you really don't get a place until the senior guy goes away. In the Republican Party, it's more open, but there's an orthodoxy that you tend to have to agree with to get their endorsements. All right, third reason, less negative campaigning. That's because in a 2-party system, negative is good. As soon as one candidate goes negative, he throws a lot of crap at the other, but he is the beneficiary because the other goes down and the voters have no other choice but vote for the mudslinger. When you have 3 or 4 or 5 parties, the guy who wants to sling mud at one other candidate, well, he'll disparage himself somewhat too. Beneficiaries are the other guys. That will keep many of the invectives from being thrown in our political campaigns. So, Epic Party is going to be on the ballots in as many states as ballot access is reasonable. Some of them are not. We're running for the purpose of rightfully dividing the established parties and presenting small government, nimble ideas that most of us want, but the 2-party system prevents. The Epic Party could possibly cross-endorse with a major party. If Democrats come to their senses and nominate a liberty-minded candidate, Epic could cross-endorse that nominee. If the Republicans can man up and nominate a principled small government candidate, Epic delegates could vote to endorse him or her. That could even be for Donald Trump. But for the next 9 months, he better shape up. So yes, Epic is mostly our effort to realign the Democrat Party. Where would the leftists go? To another country, we hope. But if they are still to infect us here, perhaps possibly to a different political party. And please don't make it the Greens. The Green Party has decent principles and they don't welcome your Marxism. And not even the Socialists. Look, the Socialist Party, in pureness, formed by Eugene Debs, he melded the Socialist Party over 100 years ago, based mostly on leverage for laborers. I still believe in that. But modern Democrat leaders do not. They make legislation and they follow union government guidelines, union leader guidelines, that make private sector unionists unemployable. They protect some unionists with government work, but that's going to go away eventually too. It's non-unionists like me who give workers the best ways of sharpening their skills, elevating their abilities. That makes them become wealthier, it allows them to gain more independence and control their current work better. Modern Democrat leaders dislike independence. It's why their form of socialism comes with extra government control. The better Democrats, those like me, empower workers. They give them great control and much better future. We see workers working with management, not against them. Democrat leaders hate them. So this is a broad attempt. It's not just me to break the lock that the leftists hold on the Democrat Party. It begins here, in Vermont, where you have an iconic senator. Bernie Sanders is strong and wrong. He has led the party to confusion and led upbeat people into political, I call it intoxication. This is the primary where thoughtful people in Bernie's home state can express their sentiments about whether they really want to be governed by a more controlling government, whether they want micro-government at all levels controlling their schools, their healthcare, their workplace, their retirement, even their bank accounts. I'll end where I started, a return to normalcy. There was a slogan then in the campaign of 1920, return to normalcy. It followed government excesses that coincided with World War I. Government created these excesses. They were putting people in jail simply for speaking freely. This coincided with the ascent of progressives into territory was very un-American. But the progressive reforms of the 1900s and 19-teens, they were mild and very American compared with what we have today. They were a tiny step downward compared to the cliff that modern progressives, with their leftist allies, want to take us over. Oh yeah, that vice presidential candidate from 1920, a thin Vermonter named Calvin Coolidge. He went on to become my favorite president of the 20th century. The 21st century needs another Calvin Coolidge. Not necessarily a robust leader, but one who will remove leaders who are taking us in wayward directions. Now that leader's not going to be me. I'm a stalking horse for candidates who are better than me. We might combine with other small parties. I and the others running in a few primaries will not be candidates in the fall for president. We'll be drafting somebody with heft, somebody better than me, somebody who speaks better, somebody who works well with crowds, somebody who's more intelligent, taller. But I'm the progenitor of a party whose members will make the epic party the best political development of our lifetimes. It's really a continuation of a concept that's been going on for 50 years. We've been splintering away, that's good, and gaining political independence from the two-party system. It's time to put the pedal to the metal. We hope you'll join us. I'll be joining you in Vermont in November, late November, getting signatures to make sure on the ballot. Be great to see you then. And if the snow is good in December, I have a Vail Pass. You can come snowboarding with me, Stowe, Okemo, take it. Have a good one. Thank you all. See you next month.